So my story today, money isn't enough to speed up Missouri's marijuana expungements. So state courts spent less than $700,000 of the $7 million allocated last year for clearing eligible marijuana offenses from people's criminal records. So yeah, not a lot of it. So out of the $7 million Missouri lawmakers approved last year to help courts expunge decades of marijuana cases, state records show that less than 10% of it was spent as of mid-May. Across the state, nearly 123,000 marijuana cases, 123,000 cases have been expunged, according to Missouri numbers compiled by the Missouri Supreme Court. But court officials have said it's impossible to estimate how many more expungements the court have to go. Missouri county courts had a tight one-year deadline to clear all eligible marijuana offenses from people's criminal records. A mandate set forth in 2022 constitutional amendment that legalized recreational cannabis here in Missouri. And to push to meet it, court leaders urged legislators last year to approve $4.5 million for the state courts to pay for their employees overtime or to hire temp workers, along with the additional $2.5 million in a supplemental budget. Yet court clerks statewide soon discovered that it's not a process more money can speed up. That's why nowadays county circuit court clerk Elaine Wilson says she never ended up asking for any funds. Nobody wants to work overtime because we all have families, said Wilson, who has a team of 5 people. And if you hire somebody off the street, you have to train them for what they're looking for. And I just don't want to take the chance of them missing something. Wilson is far from the only clerk who felt that way. With something this important, she said, Cass County Clerk, City Clerk Kim York, I think we all feel better having experienced clerks working on it. That's really the only way to know with 100% certainty, and it shows in the numbers. When the money became available last fall, about half of the state's 115 counties applied for money from the Circuit Court Budget Committee, which oversees the Special Assistance Program. The counties asked for $4.1 million for labor costs, along with $100,000 in postage. As of May 15, those 62 counties had spent a total of $658,728 on paychecks and $18,290 on postage. About half of the counties requested money spent less than $1,000 each. Just crazy. So Crawford County spent the most on regular and overtime pay with about $91,000, half the county originally requested. Next was Jasper County with $63,000. Looking at expungement numbers statewide, more money didn't necessarily mean more cases reviewed or expunged. However, several clerks said they found it difficult to track the number of cases reviewed, so the states likely don't reflect the accurate totals, they say. So I could continue to go on, and this is just something that obviously is near and dear to my heart. If you notice, I'm wearing a Cana Convict Project shirt here. It's a local group here in Missouri that works on getting different petitions signed and works on getting people out of incarceration that are there for nonviolent cannabis crimes. And one of the biggest things that they're having is being able to find who those people are. If you go and search the database here in the state of Missouri, you can't look up cannabis crimes. So you have to look up just specific narcotics. So we're asking anybody that has any family to please reach out and let them know that if they are eligible, that they can request to get their thing expunged and get released from incarceration. So if you have a family member here in the state of Missouri that is in jail for a nonviolent cannabis crime, they can be released. Like, please reach out. A lot of these people
Who
do not
they reach
know.
out to? Can you give us that information?
Yeah, so the Cana Convict Project.
Mm-hmm.
Chris and Christina Smith are in charge.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, we have
Cana Convict
lots of
Project.
people that are incarcerated that just don't even know that they're eligible to be released.
I have a question. I have a
big.
question because I don't understand a little bit of that. When you get arrested, you know what your charges are. So
Correct, but if you were arrested 10 years ago.
You
5
still know
years
your charges are.
Correct, but you don't know the law's changed because you're in jail. Or you don't know that you're one.
Got
of
it. Okay. I see what you're saying. You're saying that these inmates are lacking the information to know that the law has changed to be able to get that portion of their sentence removed. But I would imagine that if those people have been in there for that long, they're not just in there for possession of weed.
Well, you never know. There was a guy that did over 20 years for an 8. So that's what this was started for.
Interesting.
That's amazing.
I thought if you've been in prison for more than 4 years, you already have like a quarter law degree just from reading up and trying to be all improper.
That's about a tenth of the population, Yarrow.
That's from watching The Orange is Black, Yarrow.
Yeah, it's about a tenth of the population.
Here's what's really chafing me today about this article.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Can't wait.
And I'm gonna throw out a little bait for you, Jason, because I know you're actually gonna agree with me on this. So unfortunately, with the way in which money is allocated with the government, you have to use it or lose it most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And typically for programs, bureaucracies have become very skilled at spending their allocation so that they can go back like that kid in the Oliver Twist and go, please, sir, may I have some more soup?
Mm-hmm.
And these fuckers couldn't even figure out how to spend the money they got. And then it gets worse because there's a quote from somebody who's like, well, it's really hard and it's overtime. I'm like, yes, motherfucker, that's what it says the money was for overtime, okay? And so the idea that they couldn't, look, I get that you can't outsource this on Fiverr, but the idea that they couldn't enlist first-year lawyers, work with a law school to have this be a public-private partnership cooperative, that they couldn't hire part-time attorneys, that they couldn't figure out some AI approach. Because what the article says is they only had 1 year to do this. Mm-hmm. And so if you know in advance that you have 1 year and at 366 days there's a cliff, not an extension, then you figure out how to fucking do it, right? Mm-hmm. Because in this world there's only two things, results and excuses. And this is the biggest excuse burger we've ever covered on High at 9 News.
Wow.
And so I appreciate that there are challenges, but when you have resources to overcome those challenges, you figure out ways to use those resources to create the solution. And I didn't get enough of that in here. And if they couldn't figure it out with that kind of war chest to do it, I mean, I just, at a very minimum, their job is to spend the money, and at a maximum, their job is to solve.
Had someone in jail, I bet they got them out. I bet if one of their family members was one of those incarcerated, they put that case and got them out. They found time to get that one taken care of.
Call a company in Silicon Valley, figure out a scraping system to go through all the old files, automate, systematize, get yourself an enterprise-grade Salesforce system, CRM, figure out what you got to do. But we put somebody on the moon 70 years ago. You're telling me these people can't figure this out in that much time? Bullshit.
Well, I can tell you and I got to go after this. Mm-hmm. Some of these states have archaic computer systems and scraping them is not possible. So
some of them just have files.
In Colorado, they're having an issue in Colorado because one of the things that some law passed that allowed them to hide the convictions so that they were not visible, so it didn't pop up on things, but not actually expunge them. So there's also nuance in the language and nuance in the law when they pass this stuff. But what's great is that you've got this Canaconvict program that's trying to bridge the gap between, and you also have to assume everyone's literate. Everyone has access to a Wi-Fi connection. Like there's some basic shit that might just be missing. So having someone out there advocating for these prisoners is always beneficial. I'm going to put a blast out to my followers about this Canaconvict program, and I'm going to peace out. Mathieu St. Germain, you look amazing.
Excellent, Jamie. Thank you so much. You too.
I'll see you next Monday.
Awesome, Jamie.
I got to follow her through the outdoors. It's my wife's birthday, so I'm going to.
It's your wife's birthday.
I love you.
I understand why Matthew looks amazing, but the rest of us don't.
You always look amazing, but Matthew's just particularly amazing today.
Mathieu, please wish.
Thank you, Jamie. I love you. You're awesome.
Please wish your wonderful wife a happy birthday.